Alright everybody, just showing everybody what we did to Josh's RZR here. So we added that bar there, that bar, this front plate right here. Then we also added triangle gussets on pretty much everywhere we could inside of here. We also added this bar going across there. And then we also added triangle gusset there. And we also added that bar. So that should stiffen up the frame quite a bit. Also, we welded the couplers. We'll tighten the bolts and welded the couplers. Another thing we did was on every one of the points where the front A-arms attach, put a weld washer on each one, and then also put triangle gussets everywhere I could, up there. Obviously did it on both sides. And another thing we did is, I don't know how well you guys will be able to see it, maybe right there. Where the upper shock mount is, we added weld washers onto that also. So that should be pretty bulletproof. We here you can see it on this side a little better. Welded that piece all the way across, welded those on better where the cage attaches, and another thing we're gonna add is we're gonna add more gussets on the bottom side of where these plates are, because these plates sit on top. And then there's also gonna be a plate that'll go right there through that whole section. So really making the front end of these things stronger. Basically everything we can do before we start getting into some tube frame stuff. We just installed his Sandcraft carry bearing and replaced a U-joint. If anybody needs the U-joint number, it is it's an SKF. Here it is. UJ812. That is a greasable universal joint for the driveline of a Turbo S. They are different on 1000s and turbos and all that. So also they could possibly be different for 4-seater, 2-seater application. Another thing I was considering doing on mine is so back here these RZRs have a cage pickup point coming off part of the frame here and here, and it really limits your bed space. Obviously, I was already considering doing a bed delete because this Polaris design of these coming in and stuff really just foobar this whole situation. So what I'm kind of thinking about doing, you can see it better, a little bit better on my RZR, but let me go around to the other side. There might be better light. There's more shit in the way. So basically what I'm considering doing is chopping this here, or right above this coupler, deleting this bar up here, and how it goes around up to the there's like the shock mount in there, and basically making a bar that'll come across the bottom and then go up, so that way you can, when you bed delete, you don't have to worry about these bars being here. You actually take this whole thing out and you can set it. You can make that pretty much you wouldn't have any of this. You could pretty much follow this line all the way around. It would basically, you'd still have to keep this section in front there, but pretty much from here back you could get rid of. I think it'd be pretty sick and would open up a lot of room for a lot of different storage options and boxes and coolers and things like that. You might be able to see a little bit better on this side what we're talking about doing, but basically from here, chop it here, and then a bar that would come across and then go up into and tie into the upper shock mount So basically come down and over. The only thing I'm slightly worried about is, obviously, would it be stronger? Would it be weaker? I think if I use 120 wall, 1.75" tube, that's stronger than what's on there. And if I put a sleeve on that, sleeve that down, 6 inches or so, and sleeve that across and gusset and plate and that whole thing, I think it'll be fine. And then have a more secure way of tying the rear bumper in. I think the rear bumper would kind of come out, would kind of come down and then tie into that point, and then also tie into a point down here. Josh's cage ties into down here, and it hits his radius rods, and I'm not sure I love that. I think I'm going to connect mine to these holes. Also, it's quite a bit easier to get to the back side of these holes than those holes down there, because I'm going to be running an HZR radius rod plate. And originally I was going to try to connect it to the radius rod plate, but these HZR plates, they make it a double shear back there instead of single shear. You weld, there's these tabs here, they get welded to the that'd be the top one, so it basically connects on there like that, and then there's that smaller plate that'll connect like that basically. And I'll show you kind of with this one. So what it'll end up doing is instead of how these 4 bolts are tied together, which kind of makes it double shear-ish, like maybe consider it like shear and a half maybe, but it'll there's a plate that'll go here and a plate on the bottom that'll go to really tie this plate into the chassis, so that it makes these pretty much as close to a true double shear as you can get without doing a lot down here. But yeah, that's all I have for as far as updates. Let me know what you guys think about some frame modification. I think it would greatly improve, because just think, looking at this, if you were able to, we had to redo the snorkel, but if you came out and around, didn't have this here, that would make this area probably 46 inches wide, give or take, because I know these are 43. It'd probably be more than 46. It'd probably be in the 48 region wide, and then you'd have that width from basically right there back, and then you could even, I don't know why they taper this all in, makes no sense, but you could have it go straight down. So yeah, that would open up a lot of room, but it's another shot for all the gussets and everything we did inside here. We did those the A inside there, because if a force comes down coming from the cage, say you roll over, the force will come down from the cage and then be spread out over those bars back into the chassis. Would it be a lot better if that bar ended and intersected that tube so that it transferred more? Yes, but I think there's enough going on back there with the gusset and that factory plate kind of frame support jobber, that I think it'll be fine. Was also considering making kind of a kit to do all this kind of stuff. Obviously, if anybody drops the RZR off here, and once it's done, we have a customer car outside waiting to get basically just the front and weld washer gusset kit done, but we could offer some kind of a kit to do this whole thing. I have a CNC plasma table on order that should be here in hopefully a month or two. We'll have every part for it. But we could make and sell this plate. This plate would be super easy to weld in. Obviously it's just a flat plate, but this, with the way it kind of curves around, basically what you do is you'd grind out all the paint, and then you'd set the plate in here, you know, tack it, come up, tack, and then tack, and then start, you know, you just push it or beat it in with a hammer until you got, you know, just push it, tack it, push it, tack it, push it, tack it, you know, and then kind of do your best around there. We'll see how it works. That probably won't be as thick of steel as this. That is 11 gauge. It's roughly 1/8 inch. But that will probably have to go with a 12 or a 14, something that you'll be able to move around a little bit. But I think it'll add a lot of strength because, you know, as any force comes up here, it basically gets transferred back through those bars. So I think having a plate in there would be very beneficial to chassis strength and twisting and whatnot. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. That's the update for tonight.